Have you ever wondered why some variables methods in Java is declared as static while others are not? What's the difference and why does it matter? In this video on Tech Unbox with Anas, we'll break down static, non-static members, variables, methods in Java with clear example. Let's dive into.
So, in this video, we will talk about the static and static members, static keyword, static variables, and static method or characteristic of a static variables, method, and initializer, and static block. So, let's discuss one by one. Static and static members. Static is it is a keyword. It is also known as a modifier. If any members of a class prefix with static keyword, then it is known as a static. The static members, also known as a class member. The static variables, if a variable's prefix with static keyword and it's created within the class block, then it is known as a static block. Means if your variables is annotated with the static in a is considered as a static variables or class variable. So as you can see here example, if you are writing your variable inside the method that annotated with the static is annotated with the static. Uh, Let me do that. Okay. So the thing is just if your variables is prefixed with static, but not inside the method and not inside the constructor, then only it call it as a static variables. So with the our definition is enough to understand the static variables. And if the interviewer asks these questions, you just answer same as it is with the example of this. And the next one is characteristic of static variable. So the variables, static variables can be accessed everywhere. Static variables are initialized with the default values. Static variables are accessed by using with a class name as well as by using it object reference. But if your yeah, same as it is. But if your variables is prefixed with static, then you can if you want to call that method inside the method, if you call that variable inside the method, okay, then you don't have to call with the class using class or object in the same class. The compiler will automatically understand the uh, variable is present inside the uh, class, same class. So you can understand what I explained with the uh, Eclipse program with the program. So the next one is if the static variables and local variable has the same, then static variable can be referred by using it class name. So the priority of the static variables, you know now. So that's so so let's go to the Eclipse to understand the variables and method. So let's check the example. So here that's we creating the one variables that is a static variable, static, okay, static string PM. So who's the PM of India? Okay, and just write it to Narendra Modi or just Modi. And then we need to main method to execute this. So for that, let's suppose our method name is India. Okay, uh, President of India. I am the India. Okay. So the shortcut of the creating the method of the President of India, you just write the name and end with semicolon, and just mouse over here. See, create your method. So here we creating the method that is, let's suppose, not private, public, static void President of India, and I just write it here. Sys out PM PM. So our program is done. Let's run it, and then we'll see what will happen. So as you can see here, the Modi is painted. Okay, our uh, president of India is Modi. Okay, but the thing is, as you can see here, the our method is not calling by the object, even not calling by the India. How it does? So why? Because if your method present inside the same class, the method is static and present in the same class, you don't have to call with the India. If you are calling with the India, that is your class name, so it also works. But you don't need to, or you don't worry about the calling by the object or class name. So I am also confusing when we working with it with this program. Then if you want to call that method with the another class, let's say this is my main class, India main, and I want to call that method. So the method name is President of India, Control C, Control V, and then with some color. As you can see here, we will get the see method President of India is undefined for the type of India name. So if you want to call that method, then you need a class name India dot President of India, President of India. See, the error is gone, and now it's run it. Yeah, we will get the module in the calling the another class. Or you can also use the object to call your method or variables. So let's create the variables. India I is equal to new India, and yeah, created the variables and I dot president of India. Run it again. You will see the two Modi is printed. So that's all about in the example of the static variables, how it works. For your understanding, I just write one comment here. Uh, comment is this okay. See, in the same class, calling a static method does not require the class name because Java automatically assumes it. So basically, this variables reference represent belongs to India, means your class level of variables. It is static variables. So that's all about in this video. Next video, We will discuss the example of the methods, static method. Third, if the method is prefixed with static, then it is known as a static method. Example of static is, as you can see here, public static void method. So as you can see here, our method is annotated as static. That is why it considered as a static method. When the compiler know it is the static method, so don't worry about the anything. The class level executions will be happen. The characteristic of static method is a static method can be called by using its class name or by using object reference. A static method is considered as a members of a class. Okay, one second. So, but see, the first one is a static method can be called by using its class name or by using the object reference. But the thing is, if your method is present in the same class, and you have to call that method, if you want to call that method in the same class, then you don't need to call by using its class name or the object reference. That is the beauty of the Eclipse. So you will understand when I'm discussing with the example a program of static method. And the second one is you know that the static method is considered as a members of class. So the static initializer and static block. So if a block prefixed with static and it's created with the class block, then it is known as a static initializer and static block. A static block executed only once before the main method. So you will understand how it works. If a class contains multiple static blocks, then it is executed from top to the bottom. This is the characteristics of our static initializer and static block. A static block are non-callable methods. Means, see here the example of the static block. This is the static and the block of the static. If you want to call this is the static block outside the class or another class, you cannot call that because this static block is don't have any name, just like the method have name. But the static blocks don't have a name. That's why we can't call that block. That is why it is called it as a static block are non-callable method. If a class contains multiple static blocks, then it is executed from top to the bottom. See, here we just discussed about the static block and static method. Okay. So the first discuss about the static block. See, this is the static block. If I want to call this block, it's not possible. This out. Hello. If I want to call this method by using class name or object reference, it won't be possible. Run it, it will not run because the main method is not there. Let's establish the main method. Okay, now the main method is there, means it will be executing with the class level of execution. Hello will be printed. So what I'm saying exactly is if I want to call this hello to the another class, okay, if I want to call this inside of suppose static main is our class name, and if I want to call that static block inside of this class, it won't be possible. So that is called the a static block are non-callable method. Let's take some example of static method. So first one is in class we have a static block hello. One more is there. Let's copy this and paste it here and write it hi. And the inside of main method, let's write one more is out and write main and run this. Yeah, we will get hello, hi, main. Why? Because the characteristics of the static, if you have a more than one static method, it will be execute top to the bottom. First, hello is executed, then hi, and then main. Let's take one more example of this, and this is static. Inside of static, we just remove this and write it here. M1. Okay, this is the method. End with simple. As you can see here, we will get the error because this method is not present in class. So we just create this method by using the shortcuts. Just mouse over here, M1, and you will get the create method. Click on the create method. Yeah, we will create that method. So that method is control X or control V. What they do, they just print the main sys out like the main. Okay, and I want to call this method. So here you just static M1 is there. Okay, let's run this program and understand what is happening here. Run it. See, we will get the main because it will be class level of execution, starting from the uh, class level of static block. Okay, this is the first execution. So when the JVM run this program, first it will start from the main. After main, it goes to the static block and enter the static block and see there M1 is present. So it will be execute. When it will call this method, it come out this block and going to the void M1 method and print this main method. That's the way of working this static. So as you can now you can understand the static method, static variables, and characteristics of a static as well as static block. Thank you for watching Tech Unbox with Anas. Next video, we will discuss about non-static method, members, variables in Java. Before you go, let's subscribe my channel for upcoming videos. Hello guys, welcome back to Tech and Unbox with Anas. Today video we will discuss about non-static method and members of non-static like variables, methods, and non-static initializer or non-static block. Also, we will discuss constructors of non-static and we'll discuss about the characteristics of non-static method variables in Java. So, before wasting the time, let's start the video. So, basically, we were discussed about the non-static method, the non-static members, or the members of non-statics like non-static variables, non-static method, non-static initializer, or non-static block. Also, we have constructors of non-static and the characteristics of non-static variables, non-static method, and non-static initializer or non-static block. So let's discuss one by one. So the first one is what is the members of non-static? So basically, if members of a class See, means inside of class, whatever the members we have like variables, methods, initializer, block. So that not prefix with static, that not prefix with static means it's not annotated with the static keyword. Then it is known as a non-static members. So members of non-statics. What are the members in non-static is? So first point is not. So non-static members are also known as instance variables. Very careful about this. So people are much confusion about the what is the instance members, instance method, instance variables. So just not a big thing, just a non-static members, also known as a instance members. What means if you have a variables, if you have a method that is also called as an instance method or instance variables. So the members of this non-static is the non-static variables, non-static method, non-static initializer, or non-static block. Also, we have a constructor. So let's discuss one by one. So the first one is non-static variables. So the definition of the non-static variables similar to the non-static numbers. That is, if a variable is not prefixed with static and it is created within the class, means within the class, in the same class, if your variable is not prefixed with static, means your variable is not annotated as static, is non or class block is known as a non-static variables. If you not understanding this, don't worry about it. I just take the one example here. See, here we have example of int number is equal to 88. So if this number is present inside the class, let's suppose here if we have a class, inside of class block, we have a int number is equal to 88. This is called as a non-static variables. If your variable is annotated or prefixed with static, this is a static, okay. Prefixed with static, then it is not known as a non-static variable. It is considered as a static variable. Let's go to the next one is a non-static method. The definitions of the non-static method as similar as the variables and non-static numbers. If a method is not prefixed with static keyword, then it is known as a non-static method. Means your method should not be annotated or prefixed with static keyword. Next one is characteristics of non-static method. So the first one is a non-static method are accessed by using the object reference. Means object reference means if you whatever the method you are creating using the uh, without the static keyword, that method you can access by using the object creations. First create the object and by using that object you have to call that method. That is the characteristics. First characteristics is saying. Next one is it is mandatory to create object for the class. Access to the non-static method means if you have a multiple non-static method or non-static method and you want to call those method, for that you have to mandatory to create the object to call your static method. So this is the characteristics of non-static. Also, we have a non-static method used to represent behavior of an object. See, this is the point which the interviewer asked. If you answered only this, you will be impress your interviewer. Non-static method used to represent the behavior of an method or object. So behavior is what? Behavior is the actions. Means what your method actions do. That is called the behavior. And also object have a property that is also come inside the method. What are the property of your object? objects like a pen, a car, book, whatever. So suppose we have a pen, pen have a color, pen have a action that is a writing. So that is called as a static represent of behavior of an object. Next one is non-static initializer or non-static block. If a block is not prefixed static and it is created within the class, then is known as a non-static block or initializer. So here we have an example of syntax, and we have a block. This is a syntax block, and inside of blocks we have instructions. Instructions means whatever the method you're uh, doing is called that as a instructions. So as you can see, this block is not annotated as a static. Means here the static is not written. That is why it's considered as a non-static initializer or non-static block. Let's let's talk about the characteristics of non-static initializer. So the first characteristics of non-static initializer is a non-static block are executed once for every object creation. That means whenever you're creating the object in the running time, that uh, non-static block are executed once for every object creation. If a class contains multiple non-static blocks, then all the non-static blocks executed from top to the bottom during object creation. When you are running a program and that object is created, and every block or method will be executed once. So next one is non-static block are non-static callable members. We can call those members which represent the non-static block. So, so next one is static context. A lot of people is confused here. Uh, what is the static context? Don't worry about it. If you are not understanding the theoretical part, don't worry about. I will explain with the practical example. A static construct refers to area of class means the refers to area of class where your class block is started. That is called the area of class. Where only static members, variables, method are and blocks are accessible. Means we cannot access the non-static block in the static context. If you want to access for that, you have to create the object inside that block, is static block. Includes a static method and static block. A static context does not have access to instance non-static member directly. We have to create the method object to access the instance of the non-static members. To access non-static members in a static context, an instance of the class must be created. What do you mean by that? So if you want to access the non-static member inside the static method or block, you have to create the object. The instance means the object of non-static object. So next one is a non-static context. We have a non-static context refers to area of a class where you can access static and non-static members are accessible. That is the beauty of non-static context. This includes instance method, instance block, and constructor. So instance method is also called as a non-static method, non-static block. And the key point of the of static context Non-static context can directly access both static and non-static members by name. You don't have to create an instance object. A static context cannot access non-static members directly. This is the difference between the static context and non-static context. A static context cannot access non-static members directly. To understand the static context, we just take one example. See, accessing a non-static variable inside the static method. So let's suppose we have a static method. Okay, static void display. Okay, display is a method map, and have that method want to access non-static variable. Let's suppose we have one variable that is a non-static int is equal to 10. This is the non-static variable. Variable. So if I want to this directly inside, let's suppose so yes, oh, if this is out, uh, none. Okay, anyway, none. See, we are getting the error headline. Cannot make a static reference to the non-static field. If we want to reference access, we need to create the object of class. So let's suppose a static method. This is our class name, static method. Uh, as is equal to new static, sorry, uh, static method. And after creating this, we can access by using object reference as dot num. See, now we will get the numbers inside the static method. This is the our static method. Static method. Also, we have to call this. So main method is needed, and then display and we semicolon and run this program. See, we will get the 10. So the theory of the our static context is now valid. Now you can understand how the static context access the non-static variables. You can also access the method inside of static method. So let's take one more example. Now what we are doing, accessing a non-static method inside the static method. So let's take first method is a non-static method void show, and so what we are typing here is out inside non-static method. Okay, so that access inside the to take one more method that is refers to the static void call flow call flow call so, and we want to access the uh, non-static method. Let's see, if I want to access this inside the static method, so what you need to do, you just basically the people what we do, just typing this and end with semicolon. And there's like why it's not working. They are scratching their head and multiple times. Why? Because if you want to access that method inside of a static, you have to create the object. So let's take a object of static method, not too much long name, as equal to new static method. Let me simple of see our method, our object reference is created a static method as is equal to the static method. Now, if I want to call the method as dot so, see, now we will call that method. So, for your understanding, I just write some comments. See, so for your understanding, I just write the comments. So this is the static method, static void call flow. So this is the static method. You can write here the static method. Okay. And the show, as you can see, the show is throwing the error. So what kind of error it's showing? The error cannot access a non-static method directly. So our error is cannot access a non-static method directly. So what we need to do, we just create the instance of a class or the object of the class. The static method as is equal to new static method, creating an instance object and as dot so to calling the our non-static method inside the static method that is a call non-static method. If I want to run this, we just need a main method and call the our method call low call so and let's run it and see what will happen. See, our program is run it fine. Inside a non-static method will execute. I hope you will understand how non-static method will access inside the static method. The people is very confused about this point. Thank you for watching Tech and Box with Anas. Before you go, let's subscribe my channel for more informative videos.